Running late, gotta love technology. Welcome to another edition of the Monday Night Raw Popcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. I am your very uninformed host of the show. I saw, I think, maybe a split second of the main event, and that's about it. So, yeah. Joining us is the person that's in charge of the show once again tonight, and that is Ashley.
Everybody to get on the whole train.
Yeah, it's better than the Zoe train. Good lord.
Well, not too bad a show. But it also showed us why this show needs to be shorter. We'll get to that. So we open up with Stephanie because, we have to. And she's bigging up the fact that obviously Raw won and SmackDown lost and everything. And says, the man responsible for the victory is coming out now, and it's Triple H. And, they recap the stills because, pay-per-view of, Triple H turning on Shane and whatever. Well, they show the Kurt Angle one as well, so turning on him and then turning back, so like triple cross, whatever. But as soon as Triple H gets to the ring, Kurt Angle's music hits, and he's just like, "Look, this isn't the general manager talking. This is the Olympic gold medalist and Hall of Famer talking. If you ever attack me from behind again, take your job and shove it." So then Jason Jordan shows up. And he wants a match with Triple H tonight because of what happened last week. Stephanie's like, "Look, you don't have the authority to make the match." And Jordan's sort of egging him on, like, "Oh, you're a coward then, Hunter." So he's getting ready, and Stephanie's just like, "Look, let's be honest, Triple H is just going to tear him apart. He's going to be so naive. Triple H isn't afraid of Jordan, and he ain't afraid of anybody in the locker room." And all of a sudden, it's like, oh shit. Even Triple H's face is suddenly like, what the shit's he doing here? And they sort of stare each other down face to face style. And then gradually, Triple H just backs out and gets out the ring. And all of a sudden, Stephanie goes, "Well, considering you want to fight tonight, Jordan, guess what? You're facing Braun Strowman." So, yeah, sort of a good thing to do for the opener for sure. So then we have Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, because we've got to do that again, I guess. I don't know. It's the only bit that was sort of. I mean, I don't know whether we wanted to see this again. It was still a good match and everything, and both got to do in quite a bit of offense. I think it was given like 15 minutes or so. The big thing, though, is the finish comes with Balor basically doing his sling blade and his drop kick and everything, getting ready for the coup de grace, but Joe basically catches him, crotches him up at the top, and really forcefully puts on the coquina clutch. And I guess sort of winner by submission / knockout is Joe. You know, pretty good match. Then they had the video package saying, everybody, everybody that was everybody was buying tickets for WrestleMania in New Orleans. I don't know whether you saw one of the pictures from that event involving kids and the Bella twins.
I did not.
The kids were posing next to a cardboard cutout of the Bellas. Amazingly, the kids were like, "Oh, this is awesome," and like, not so much. Miz TV's coming up later with Roman Reigns as the guest. Then there was a Gallows and Anderson WWE shop promo thing. Trying to get you to buy your Black Friday stuff. In fact, they've got a new T-shirt, which is like the threat level sort of thing, except this is a nerd level. It was nice for sort of what it was, but also not. Then they had a video package recapping Brock's win over AJ last night. So then we get Kurt backstage, and Jason shows up and says, "You're not going to let this match go through with Braun, are you?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, you ready to go?" And Jordan says, like, "I was lying. I was actually hurt." The great thing is, throughout this entire bit, you could hear the crowd who were watching this on obviously the big Tron screen laughing at it. And Kurt's like, "Why did you say you're 100%? And it's like, "I only did it because Triple H was there." And Kurt's like, "Look, if I cancelled the match now, it's going to look bad." And Jordan says, "Don't worry, I'll go through with it. I'm the only one on the roster that can beat Strowman." More laughs. "I'm not afraid of him either." More laughs. At the end of the night, Strowman will be telling horror stories about me. More laughs. I don't know whether they're truly playing this for laughs now, or that's basically the way it's coming across. It's like, what the hell? So here comes Asuka. She's taking on Dana Brooke. Dana's basically, she does an insert promo saying, "Oh, I lost my chance at Survivor Series because of you, Asuka. You took away my opportunity, so I'm taking away your undefeated streak." Well, she didn't. But the thing that's worth noting is it wasn't a submission win. It was the big old kick to the face and whatever. And the fact of the matter is, once again, this is how you show Asuka as a dominant force. I sort of, because of logistically what happened with Emma, I can see why they wanted to give her somewhat of a competitive match for a send-off. To me, and I think to you, Owen, that hurt the character to some extent, didn't it?
Well, the damage has been done for a while now, sadly.
But, you know, it's... Considering people aren't supposed to have memories.
Yeah.
This is the way they should have been doing it. And the fact that they're doing it now, good. So, Miz TV starts up, and he sarcastically applauds Baron Corbin, basically going, "Because of me, you're more relevant." And his guest is the guy that led the Shield to victory over New Day, and here comes Roman Reigns. Except he doesn't. And then it's like, here comes Roman Reigns. Nope. Here comes Roman Reigns, and then here come the Shield. All three of them through the crowd. And Miz is like, no, Roman's my guest, not all of you. And Dean's just like, hey, we're feeling all right. Because, you know, we proved to everyone and the New Day that we're still it. And Seth's like, you know, we're the most dominant three-man team in the history of the company. And bloody Miz says, no, it's like, you know, sure, props to you for all that, but you know what? I haven't heard a thank you. And Reigns is like, why would we thank you? And Miz sort of rightfully goes, don't you realize I'm the one that started this reunion? And once again, he has to do the, you know what this signal means? When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. Which the crowd don't do, because it's Houston. You know, if it weren't for me and everything that I did, the fact is you wouldn't have set aside your macho pride and get together. It was me that led the formation of Dean and Seth to become the tag team that they were. And then it was my egging on at you, Roman, that led you all to get together and everything. Now, surely I deserve a thank you, Miz, for it. And the Shield are about to continue on with the promo. But then the crowd actually start chanting thank you, Miz, loudly. And Shield are just cracking up, send for the man, sort of thing. And Miz sort of again, because he's right, bounds it from like saying, I don't want to hear it from you. I want to hear it from the Shield. And the Shield basically go, hey, perhaps you need to thank Houston. You know, Miz also mentioned how he wanted some, like, a residual on all the check for all their merchandise. And the Shield are like, it's pretty sweet merchandise, isn't it? Only issue is Dean doesn't have his checkbook and whatever. And then Mrs. Awesome starts ringing out. And it's like, even Miz is like, what? I'm supposed to be the heel and it's not even working. People are actually liking me, sort of thing. And Reigns is like, I've never heard Mrs. Awesome before. Then all of a sudden, there's like, all the lights go out. Because I guess there was a temporary power outage or something. I don't know. And of course, Miz is like, "Where's my spotlight?" Which gradually comes on before the actual building lights come back on. It's just like, you're ungrateful because I'm the champion. And Reigns is like, surely you're the one that should be grateful because you lost. And after the Miz champion bit, it's like, well, and Seth's like, we're getting the tag team titles back. And Reigns is like, whoa, that means I won't have a title. What issue can I have? So he's like, and Seth's like, well, you got a title, Miz. How about we do something? Houston, do you want a title match? And then Bo Dallas says, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't just come on this show and challenge him. If you want him, they have to go through us. And Ambrose is like, oh, my God. We forgot. We've got to go through the Miztourage. And, of course, they attack Bo. Then Curtis Axel's like, oh, I don't want any of this. I don't want to deal with this. And then he gets Dirty Deeds and the, what is it, the King Knee? Owen, what's it called again?
Which one?
Seth's finisher, the King's Knee or King's Landing, isn't it?
Something like that. He actually officially named it while I was gone from Horror Nights.
I think so. I think it's the King's Landing.
Call it the Ripcord Knee.
Whichever. And then Dallas got the triple power bomb. Miz is shitting himself. Good segment, though. Then Charlie's interviewing Braun backstage, and it's like Jason says he isn't afraid of you. Anything to add? And Strowman just says, "Good," because that makes him different than anybody else, even including Triple H. And he just walks off, and it's like, short and sweet, nice. Then they reveal and officially confirm Miz defends the IC title against Roman Reigns. The crowd goes apeshit crazy. So Seth and Dean are still in the ring because Dean's in action against Sheamus, who comes out with Cesaro and all that. Pretty good. Again, the issue with this is I've seen it too many times. Ambrose gets the win with Dirty Deeds, but it's like, it's just part of me is like, bruh. Hopefully we don't see too much of this, but I guess we'll have to because there's no Raw pay-per-view technically until February. LOL. And then we got Matt backstage, Matt Hardy. And Jason comes in and Jace Jordan's wanting advice on facing Braun. And Matt says, I've faced Henry, I've faced Big Show. Now I faced Brock. They were men. Strowman is the monster among men. Not a nickname, it's a fact. That the strength that he has, it's completely inhuman. Some nights just aren't your night. So it's like, what great advice. The great advice from Hardy is, you fuck, son. So now Alexa Bliss is making her way out, looking pretty upset. And Bliss says, I don't need your pity, fans. And then Mickey comes out and says, look, it's no time for a pity party from Biscuit Butt. Then Bayley shows up. The great thing is Bayley gets a somewhat portion of booze. She is the new Roman Reigns. except the other way around. And Bailey goes, look, the fact is, I have to agree with you, Alexa. This year has been your year, but the fact of the matter is, I'm not the same woman that you beat to get that belt. That's my belt. And Sasha shows up and says, you know, the A show needs a boss to represent it, not a B like Bliss. Then Alicia Fox comes out going, you know, if you need a boss as champion, maybe the boss of Raw should have had that opportunity. You know, Raw wouldn't have defeated SmackDown 2 years in a row without her. And Bliss rightfully goes, okay, Captain Delusional. And then it's the fact of the matter is none of you deserve an opportunity. And she goes to leave, but is stopped by Kurt and says, can, you know, SmackDown prove they aren't the B show last night in terms of, you know, Charlotte winning, but Raw proved their V show. So you'll defend your championship at a later date against the winner of a Fatal 4 match, which is right now. So the thing about that is, I agree with Bliss in the fact none of them deserve an opportunity. It's obvious who deserves the opportunity. The one that was the sole survivor. Asuka. And then we had the match, which I was like, okay, this is probably going to be your average multi-woman match. Oh, and you're back paying attention and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is big.
Yep.
So everybody gets laid out for a time being. And then all of a sudden, Paige's music hits.
What's with the lipstick?
Who knows? It's just I'm pleased to see her back in this company.
Yeah, but I'm not pleased at what came after this.
Yeah, I sort of see what you mean.
You know exactly what I mean. I will voice my displeasure very soon, don't worry. Has nothing to do with Paige other than the fact I don't like the lipstick.
True. So she's like, "Oh, I'm back, everybody." And she's like, "Okay, that's fair sense. Did you miss me?" Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, sort of stuff. But you know, the crowd is making noise and whatever. And Paige is like, "I didn't come alone." And then from nowhere, from the crowd, out come Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And Fox runs away because she's a strong leader. Mickey gets the angel's wings from Mandy Rose. Sonya kicks Sasha Banks because that's all she can do. And then Paige hits Bailey with the Rampage. The matches are no contest and everything. To me, Paige being back is good. Mandy Rose getting the step up is a pleasant surprise. Sonya Deville is an unpleasant surprise.
I have no idea why this is even happening.
I guess this is the new women's revolution. Sorry, Emma. This is how we write it off. This is how it happens. Yeah. To me, Sonya is like. I'm guessing they're getting Sonya away from NXT because then that means Shayna can actually do stuff there.
Probably. There's another way you could do it. Like, well, I don't know. Let her like learn how to wrestle and let her have, I don't know, personality.
Well, no, we know why she's come up. She's gonna get fucking massacred by the horsewomen before we get to the WWE's horsewomen versus Ronda's horsewomen.
I'm
That's
okay
why
with
she's
that.
there. I think if that's the angle we're going, that's what I'd do. You know, because Sonya is supposed to be sort of an MMA style fighter.
I mean, honestly, if this was a perfect world, this would have been Paige, and she would have been leading Peyton and Billy.
Yeah.
That should have been what they went with. But the problem is, this is more of a badass stable. When I think badass, I don't think Mandy Rose. But I understand what they're trying to do, like later on in the show when they left Alexa for dead.
To me, the issue is Mandy is sort of like okay,
She's okay.
but
I'm not a fan, but she's
that
okay.
has there's potential.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But then the issue is like there could have been other people that you could have brought up. The only one that really you couldn't, I would say, is Liv Morgan.
Yeah, she's
Because
not ready for prime time.
no, I don't. I think she is, but the problem is because her image and her gimmick is too similar to Carmella's, people will see it as a carbon copy.
Well, she's a better Carmella. I don't like Liv Morgan, but I like Liv Morgan better than I like Carmella.
So then we have the three of them backstage, and Renee, interviews them and says, welcome back. Why do you attack them? And Alexa's like, look, you don't have to ask her. You can tell me. And Paige is like, oh, thank you so much, in such sort of a way of like disgenuine as all hell. And it's like, have you met my friends? And they all attack Alexa. And what if all three of them get destroyed by Asuka? That'd be good.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Also, but the thing is, I've also realised this does mean Paige is on Raw.
Yep.
That also means how unbalanced are these rosters? Because that currently means there's like 9 women on Raw and like 6 on SmackDown. Some of them are getting cut. I'm guessing Mickey. To be honest, I'm guessing Mickey and Alicia will get cut somewhere down the line, sort of like WrestleMania time. If they're if Sonya and Mandy do the right things and impress enough. I mean, it'd be a shame to see Mickey go, but if she only wants to work for so long, then go back to being with a family, that makes sense. And you know, Alicia, the best way to describe it. Yeah, Alicia. Bit awkward. So then we get Strowman versus Jason Jordan, which isn't as one-sided as you think it is. Jordan actually is important and or actually somewhat in this. Not for much, but whatever. Because there was a bit when Jordan actually manages to sort of pick up Strowman, but that's it. And Strowman goes to destroy him, and he makes out that his knee buckles, and he's in all the pain. And then all of a sudden, Kane shows up, attacks Strowman. So that's the angle there. And he smacks him with a steel chair, kicks him out the ring, smacks him into the steel steps. After the chair basically gets destroyed because he's hit him in so hard. Interestingly, somebody sort of in the front row by the microphones was going, "It's gonna be Kane." It's like, what? And so then Kane gets another chair, puts it on Strowman's throat, and smacks the chair on the steps. And Strowman's like choking and in pain and whatever, and walks out under his own power. But he's foaming at the mouth. That was like the best bit. It was like he's like a rabid dog and everything. It was done really well. It was an expected interference because it's like, well, if Braun survived going to hell through the ring last week, why couldn't Kane? So that's what happened, and we then get note about how Braun's refusing all the medical help that's being offered to him. Then we get to the third hour. Yeah. Fucking no! Enzo comes out with the heels. Because of course he does. Dar and Nice and Davari and Gulak. And like last night, he's in his bloody boxing robe, and it's all part of the Zoe train. And Enzo's like, these guys are better with me than without me. And then Swan, Tozawa, Ali, and Alexander show up. And Enzo, of course, drops the couple of haters thing. And he's like, look, we're not here to join your club. We want our opportunity at the Cruiserweight title. But we're willing to try and earn it unless all the suck-ups to you. And Enzo's like, getting through us is the only way to the top of 205 Live. The guy at the top of the mountain didn't fall. Get out of the way. And Swan just basically goes, let's be honest, without you guys, you're nothing but a catchphrase and a t-shirt. And there's a giant brawl with the pro and anti Enzo people, which of course leads into an 8-man tag match, which the faces win, with Ali hitting Davari with Dar with the inverted 450. But the great thing is during this, the crowd were just like, even the women are better than this. Again, this is more and more sign of the cruiserweight division needs to disappear. It's a shame to say, but you might as well just incorporate it into Raw by having it as a separate sort of, yes, here's the program sort of thing. So then we get Renee outside the trainer's room for the medical update, and Kurt comes in and says Braun's left the building. And so Kurt's like, so will there be any repercussions for what Kane did? And Kurt's like, I'll address that later, and actually goes into the training room to check on Jordan, and Jordan's like, I let you down. And then Miz comes in and is like, why am I getting, a match against Roman Reigns tonight? And Kurt says, look, now isn't the time. Go away. I'm not cancelling the match. You'll deal with it. And then Jason goes, Matt was right. Strowman is a monster among men. So then Elias is in the ring. The crowd is more interested in doing Let's Go Astros, I think, because they showed some of the Houston Astros in attendance and whatever. So he was doing his song and how he beat Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy interrupted. They got into a mini brawl. Elias escapes the ring, and that was it. Because reasons.
So yeah, we've got one of these nights that I'm actually going to be able to focus on wrestling. It just seems like business as usual. It's nothing really to write home about. It's like another Raw right after a pay-per-view.
Well, I hadn't finished.
Oh, I know what comes next. Don't remind me.
Let's get to the bit that sort of saves the final hour. The Elias thing was shit, and the Cruiserweight stuff was shit.
Mm-hmm.
At least Miz and Roman was a good match.
The match was good. I'll give him that.
Yeah, you might not agree with the fact that obviously God knows how much interference there was from bloody Sheamus and Cesaro and Ambrose and Rollins and everything. Or the fact that Reigns hit the spear and became the new Intercontinental Champion. Meaning, of course, Roman is now sort of a true Grand Slam champion of sorts. Given that he's WWE and Universal Champion. Hopefully this just means that The Miz beats Brock Lesnar somewhere down the line.
I'd be okay with that, but it'll never happen.
Yeah, that's the problem. So yeah, Reigns celebrates at the Shield as Raw goes off the air, but in all honesty, overall, this was actually a pretty good show. Which, I mean, it sounds harsh to say I didn't expect it. But in all honesty, I didn't. Normally, the post shows after the big shows are sort of, I wouldn't say non-eventful, but rubbish. It's the better word. The Stephanie stuff was somewhat muted, which was like a big surprise. And the majority of the stuff actually was interesting. The Cruiserweight stuff wasn't. And the Elias Matt stuff, and the fact that a couple of the matches are stuff that we'd already seen, a la Finn and Joe, even though that was a good match. And Dean and Sheamus, which was okay-ish. Aside from that, it's actually, to me, it's just surprising that it was good. Whether this means we're going to get future stuff good for the rest of the year, we'll have to see. We'll have to hope. So, yeah, that was Raw.
Yeah. So that's that's probably your show then.
Yeah, well, I guess the only stuff to sort of mention is the fact that Tribute to the Troops is happening in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I saw about that, but I didn't really look into it.
Also, apparently, the advances for tonight and tomorrow are not that good. Because basically, people aren't willing to stay in Houston for 4 days like they would be for WrestleMania or SummerSlam.
Understandable there.
Oh, interesting. So, with the Tribute to the Troops, they're actually doing a separate show at the naval base and then doing SmackDown Live at the actual arena. So I guess they'll be doing matches at both to sort of fill in the time and whatever. Possibly. They are working it a little differently. Yeah. Let's have a quick look through the other stuff that came through the news today, but nothing that I'll mention. Well, I guess the only thing we do want to mention is apparently Kamala seems to be in a bad way, as some of his friends are asking to pray for him because he's been hospitalized with possible reports that he's on life support. So best wishes to Kamala and his family for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's another one in Bookity Books.
All right. Back here Wednesday for the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast, starting at 9:30 p.m., probably a little bit before that, or maybe a little bit after that, just kind of depends. Again, work. So we're talking SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk about the Indies. We're going to talk about Impact. We're going to talk about anything under the sun, basically, including also MMA news and UFC. And all this and more at 9:30 p.m. on the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. Kevin with Ash returning soon, and sometime this week it sounds like Sip and Snack returns this weekend as well. And Friday and Saturday, of course, will be AJ's movie reviews and verses. So I believe we're talking Coco this week. Pretty sure. So yeah, that's going to be coming your way. Only a few weeks till Disaster Artist, thank God. And that's what we've got for the show tonight. So we still have podcasts coming. Halloween Horror Nights and Halloween Scream are coming in the near future. Don't know exactly when. I'll keep you guys posted. So Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
I'm on Twitter at Sir Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. And in the meantime, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you've chosen a podcast. Thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And I did see the messages from Timbo in chat. And welcome, Pedro. I know it was late, but sorry, it's been a long night. So hope everyone's coming back on Wednesday and back here next Monday night for Raw. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Go away, Sonia.
Indeed.